The Amazon Echo Show 15 is the first Amazon smart display with 1080p resolution. It's the first 15.6-inch display on the market. It's the first wall-mountable one, as well as the first that can truly be used in either portrait or landscape mode. It's the first with a new widgets feature and the first to get the new AZ2. It's the first with a true family calendar, and in case you're not tired of hearing that it's the first in something, then I'll keep going, because it's the first that can visually identify people in front of it and therefore customize the content showing on screen. With all of these firsts, you would think that it would be a slam dunk that the Echo Show 15 is worth the price of admission, but there's more to this decision than you might think. The Echo Show 15 is beefy, weighing in at 2.2 kilograms. That 15.6-inch screen and its 1920 by 1080p resolution is framed by a white border, which is in turn framed like a frame. All this means that the physical device is 15.8 inches across and nearly 10 inches tall. It's also nearly 1.4 inches thick, and you get options to both wall mount the Echo Show 15 or place it on a counter with a stand that costs $30 US. You also get an option to mount this vertically or horizontally, and the interface shifts in order to accommodate what you've chosen. Contributing to that beefy footprint are the dual 1.6-inch full-range speakers that fire out the back of the display, a 5-megapixel camera with a physical privacy shutter, and Amazon's new AZ2. The device works over Wi-Fi at both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz frequencies and supports connectivity through Bluetooth. The Wi-Fi connection gives power to Amazon's voice assistant, Miss A, and the whole thing is running a new and improved operating system not yet available anywhere else. The new widgets feature is nothing short of fantastic, and it's the start of a true operating system for Amazon that developers will actually build for. This makes me excited for the future of this Echo Show and brings us a step closer to something better than a tablet. You do get a number of widgets to start with, including some useful ones and some not so useful ones, but my favorite here is the new family calendar feature. You can display that widget in both a small or a larger format, but you only get to choose one larger format for the entire device. Widgets never leave the home screen though, which can make this feel like a busier display than the rest of the lineup. What has basically happened is the old Echo Show interface has been pushed to one side and the widgets are now on the other half. Personally, I don't mind the fact that it's a busier screen because I have options for turning off the display when it's not in use and for calming down that left-hand side with settings management. Plus, all of this great information is sitting there, making the Echo Show 15 infinitely more useful than its predecessors, especially at a glance. The other thing making this infinitely more useful is the snappiness of this display. The AZ2 is a bigger deal than I thought it would be when I heard Amazon's marketing spiel, and I have noticed a serious improvement when navigating around the display. This is a major improvement over other Echo Shows, as I have always complained about them being a little sluggish. AZ2 will provide future benefits to the speed and accuracy of their voice assistant, as well as additional future features, but I've already found that I'm being heard really well by the far-field microphones and that responses are coming back very quickly, if not faster than some of the other Echo devices I have in my home. There are major improvements to the interface all over the place, and the new menu when you swipe down from the top is much larger than it's been in the past. It contains a lot of the things that you used to get on Echo Shows when you swiped from the right-hand side, including music, video, and communication features. Each of those features has their own navigation to it, but nothing is really difficult to figure out. The one piece of the interface that is still pretty much terrible is the smart home dashboard, but I do expect that to be improved very soon, as we've seen some improvements come through on the Fire TV devices. So while this definitely needs an improvement, I think most of this Echo Show's lifetime will be spent with a better interface to control your smart home. When you swipe from the right hand side, you get those widgets, which gives you some customization of the main page, but there are other elements that are a bit more customizable, like timers that can be moved around with your hand. And I just touched on music and video, and while I like the interface for the video home screen for getting to YouTube and using Netflix, I didn't find a ton of use in going into the music screen. So I hope that gets adjusted too. But when the device actually plays music from Amazon Music, it looks absolutely stunning with the lyrics and the ability to swipe through your music. Video playback on the 1080p screen looks fantastic, and this is definitely a major step up from the Echo Show 10. Amazon's also made sure that the screen doesn't blow you away when you're up close, but they've also made it big enough that you can step back and watch content from across the room. And what I mean by not blowing you away is that it feels much more like the Nest Hub Max screen, which is a bit more of a muted display and a little less reflective than Echo Shows have been in the past. This is something that I seriously appreciate about this display, and I'm not even sure that Amazon did a ton here, but it's been fine-tuned really well. And you might not consider playing games to be something that you can do on this, but I have found this one to finally be the right size and the right speed of device to get some use out of the limited Amazon Skills library for games. My kid enjoyed playing a version of The Price is Right, and Words with Friends was pretty good too. However, the speakers are one of those things that I think people will be expecting to get higher quality and more bang for their buck from this Echo Show. And when you look at the size of the speakers and the specifications, it would be really easy to make the comparison of one Echo Show 15 equals to two Echo Show 5s. That's really not a fair comparison in terms of the overall clarity and quality, but understand that these speakers are firing out the back of the Echo Show 15, and so Amazon's voice assistant can sound like she's far away, and your music probably needs to be reflected by a fairly hard surface behind the Echo Show. But this is definitely not the speaker system we have on the similarly priced Echo Show 10, and I would say it's more like the Echo Show 8 with a little less lower end bass to it. Speaking of the Show 8 and 10, both of those smart displays have far superior cameras, at least in terms of megapixels, and it does show up a little bit when you're making video calls with the Echo Show 15 versus those. However, it's definitely a camera that's good enough for video calling, and it did relatively well in low light conditions on those video calls. Sadly, at the time of launch, Zoom video calling is not available on this Echo Show 15. Another feature with that camera is that it is a camera, or more appropriately, a security camera. So you can look through the camera when the privacy shutter is open and when you've enabled that feature in settings. And then people around the display at that time will get notices based on the settings you've set. The other feature that the camera is being used for is a brand new one, which is called Visual ID. And this means that the Echo Show can recognize the different people in your space. And this is really useful if people set up different settings in the application for their calendars or use other skills that have widgets associated with them. Visual ID worked really well for me, but a number of other testers that I've talked to have struggled in certain cases. I thought the big test for me would be when I took off my glasses, but it still recognized me really well. It was a bit slower at recognizing me than its main competitor in this space, which is the Google Nest Hub Max, and the feature didn't perform super well in lower light. So we're all the way to this point, and I haven't talked about installation, which is an important component because you have all these choices. And as I told you early on in this video, this is a hefty smart display, and you will absolutely need all 4 of the screws and 4 anchor mounts that you get from Amazon if you're going to put this thing on your wall. The power brick is about 1.6 inches thick, and I haven't found a way to get it to sit inside the little space that Amazon gave us behind the smart display. This seemed like a bit of an obvious miss to me from Amazon, but otherwise, the mounting hardware and the instructions were incredibly easy to follow. And I have seen some people install these without the cable showing at all. So feel free to check out some of the ways that people are doing this on Amazon's review board for that product. But for me, I ended up getting the optional stand, which does cost a bit extra, but there's some real reasons for me and I think for you to look at this. Because not only can I put the Echo Show on a counter or a table where it does look fantastic, but it allows for really quick setup, a number of different angles, is extremely high quality and very strong, but none of that matters as much as this last thing. It allows for actual cable management and hides the excess cable inside of the mount. This makes it easy to have the display look amazing in any space with that picture frame look and feel. And nowadays when I plug in an Echo Show, the setup is almost too easy. And I don't tend to make setup videos anymore because honestly, Amazon has taken away the need for that in most cases. But it will take you some time to go through the settings and to configure this correctly for the different features you want and don't want. Almost everything is available on the smart display itself from a settings perspective, which is great for getting a device ready to send to a relative that's maybe not so great for technology. And it's also great for you to not have to have your phone around to manage this kind of a device. But you will still need the Amazon Miss A application, but it is becoming less and less critical to manage devices like this. For anyone who's looking at the Echo Show 15, you're probably considering it to either be an entry point to the smart home or looking for it to become a real smart home hub. From the interface perspective, this does all right, with the smart home favorites being customizable in the application and you being able to turn on and off a few devices. I've already talked about that smart home dashboard, but one of the really nice things about having a smart camera that works with this is that you can get them to show up and they sit in a little box that you can move around the screen or, if you'd like, expand out. For you hardcore automators and for those of you looking at using this as a smart home hub, you will be missing the Zigbee hub, which is available in the Echo Show 10 and a few other Echo speakers in their lineup. This is something that helps you to keep devices off of your Wi-Fi, which can become a nagging problem if you don't have a good Wi-Fi solution in your home. And while the routine page is nice, I will say that now that I have this large smart display, I want to be able to create routines and I want to be able to further manage my smart home. I want to be able to add devices, and truly, I just want this to act like the full Amazon Miss A application now. So it's done really well from a connected life perspective, but I do want to see Amazon now move that ball to the goal line and get this done. Having said all of this, there's still a large price tag with the Echo Show 15, and I can't ignore that when I'm giving a recommendation. It is 100% the most useful smart display I have in my home instantly. It puts the other Echo Shows to shame with the widgets and its responsiveness, and it provides better information than even the Google Nest Hub Max when I'm just looking at the screen. I would say that Amazon's voice assistant is now close enough to Google's for that not to be a major differentiator, although we do still have some limitations here and there, and Google will probably always have better search and information sources. So the experience is much better on this Echo Show, and Amazon has truly brought us close to a smart home control center that I think is worthy of installing in most homes, but there are still reasons if you're in the Amazon ecosystem to look at those other Echo Shows. Things like the Zigbee hub that I talked about are good examples, but there's much more to it. So what you should do now is, if you're considering an Echo Show 15, then you'll want to watch our full comparison video of the other 3 Echo Shows. I think a lot of you will find that you can save some money by going with a lesser Echo Show. So check out that video that's up on screen and see if one of those will fit your use case better. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, don't hate, automate.